There has been a lot of talk this offseason about, obviously, the Vikings. It's been kind of funny to a degree because they haven't made a lot of changes. They haven't brought anybody on. Obviously, they kept Kirk Cousins. They re-signed him, in fact. Brought in. The basic headline is, yeah, they brought in a new head coach, new coaches, and a new culture. My question is it enough to win a Super Bowl for the Minnesota Vikings? Like, can you win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins and the rest of this team? And it's the most cliche milquetoast question, but it has to be thought about because, is coaching really the problem? We have to go back to 2019 when the Vikings made the playoffs. And quite honestly, they look like a team that they had a lot of good things going for them. Kirk Cousins obviously was Kirk Cousins at that time. I think after 2-2, they played the Bears, and that game was just rough. And then they played, and they went on and I think won 4 straight or something like that. And it was interesting. They're a team that I think there's a lot of talent on this team right now, obviously, but overall I question if it's enough because at the end of the day we do have to remember the fact that Kirk Cousins and the rest of this squad, they a couple years ago they had a top 15 I would say at least it was easily top 15 defense. It was probably honestly closer to top 10 in terms of statistics and everything and going on. Obviously now it's a little different. Harrison Phillips and everybody, but overall there's a lot of there's a couple of new faces, but there's a lot to be excited about, I think. But this defense, the potential of it, I think if the secondary plays as good as I think it can, I think this pass rush will get after opposing quarterbacks quickly. But again, it comes back to, how the rest of it will, stack up. Eric Kendricks is a year older, as is Harrison Smith. Obviously those guys are legends, but Danielle Hunter's still out here getting it done. So, that's going to be really interesting to me. Overall, I do think that the Vikings are in a much better spot this year and as opposed to last year. So, it's going to be something I want to look out for. But also at the same time, obviously, you got a lot of the same faces returning on offense as well. Kirk Cousins, like we mentioned, Dalvin Cook still a stud back there. Kenny Nwangu, Ty Chandler, all those guys in at running back, as well as Alexander Madison. Then obviously at tight end, Irv Smith Jr. And then Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and KJ Osborne potentially have to have the chance to continue to do amazing things and really piggyback off of what they did last year. So, I'm excited about this team. I can't say I'm not. I would still say the biggest question mark for me, obviously, is the offensive line. Christian Darrisaw, that hopefully I think is going to be that guy that is that answer at left tackle that we've been looking for the last decade or however long. And then Ezra Cleveland, I think really stepped up last year, and I think he's going to continue to step up. Then Garrett Bradbury, is it year 4? Is this the finally the year? We'll have to see. Chris Reed or whoever, Jesse Davis, I forgot to put him on the depth chart. I got to change that. I'll change that for the next one. But Jesse Davis and Chris Reed out there competing for the potential center guard spots. And then finally, Brian O'Neill, who's played like an all-pro for a while, but hasn't gotten the love. So it comes back to the question, is this changing culture? Like the fact that we have basically the same players, that the franchise is basically in the same spot it was a year ago. Like, is the question is the change in culture enough to win a Super Bowl? When a team relies so heavily on the quarterback position, it really does come down to how far can they take you. And I'm not going to lie, I still have my questions about Kirk Cousins, but at what point do we stop making the excuse? And again, I do have to give Kirk Cousins a lot of credit. I would say over the last couple of years, he has really found himself with the Minnesota Vikings, way more so than 2018, 2019 with the Vikings. And I think they're in a better spot. Like, I do think the offensive line will give him a better chance to succeed. I feel like this wide receiver group for him is going to be much better. His defense hopefully shouldn't allow 29, 30 points a game. Or be at least bottom tier of the league. It should be much improved. So, I think with the proper coaching, with the culture change, it is something to bring in these guys and bring in excitement. But, I do think it is enough, but we'll have to see and see what does happen. Now, if the question is, if they fall short, I do think they have these 2 years because Kirk Cousins, Obviously, his extension is still going to really bleed into a lot of next year as well. So they have 2 years of Kirk Cousins. You know, can they get it done with him? I think he's a guy that does need to have a lot of things perfect. And the question is, will they have it perfect? Like, is this the perfect outcome? Is this the perfect situation? We will have to see. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We really appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, we've got all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think. Is a change in culture or coaching good enough to help the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl